Welcome to another episode, and tonight we are hosting Alfred Nyaga. He is a Commonwealth Shared Scholar at Brunel University, London, and this is a conversation between two Commonwealth Shared Scholars. Today we are going to discuss about the application process for the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, and if you are applying for the Commonwealth Master Scholarship, you should also expect to get more information, especially at the end, towards the end of this video. So stay tuned. I'll get to ask our guest the very first question. What is the difference between Commonwealth Shared Scholarship and Commonwealth Masters Scholarship?
Thank you so much, Mr. Joseph Omai, for hosting me for this chat. So as introduced, my name is Alfred Nyaga, and I'm a lawyer from Kenya. And to answer the first question, the difference, and many people ask about this question. So the difference between Commonwealth Shared and Commonwealth Masters is the nominating agencies. So for the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, the nominating agency is usually the university, which in this case is the UK University. And for Commonwealth Masters, the nominating agencies could either be the Ministry of Education in your own country, home country, or an NGO which nominates candidates from your home country. So in this case, you might want to confirm which NGOs from your home country usually nominate applicants for the Commonwealth Masters Scholarship. So basically, that's the main difference between the two scholarships.
So this is the first time I'm hearing about Commonwealth Masters or Shared Scholarship. Where do I get the application website and such details?
Basically, the two. Let me just first highlight that the two scholarship open at different times, more or less. Like one opens earlier, then immediately it closes. The other one opens. So the Commonwealth Master Scholarship actually is currently open for application and is closing, I believe, 15th October 2024, and Commonwealth Shared will open thereafter. So where you get the links for these two scholarship is if you go to your browser and just Google Commonwealth Master Scholarship, the first option you will get is the link to the CSC. So basically, once you click that link, it should take you to the Commonwealth Masters Scholarship. Then for the Commonwealth Shared, once you search Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, you'll also be taken to the website for the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. So you need to be very keen on the website you are opening, because once you open that particular website, it should give you, it's actually a blue and white website, and it should give you the options of and the overview of how to apply financial assistance and all that. So you should be keen on the website you are opening so that it can take you to the correct website for applying for the two scholarships.
So I just went online and I'm looking at the website right now. And one of the qualifications, the requirements, it's saying that I can either be accepted with 2.1, a first class, or a 2.2, that is a second class lower division, and a relevant postgraduate degree. So what exactly does this statement mean, especially if I have a second class lower division?
So what it means for people with second class lower division is basically you need to have your undergraduate degree and either a postgraduate diploma or masters. So ideally what will happen is the Commonwealth Masters will be your second masters. And I know of people who already have their first masters, and they are going to study. They came to the UK under Commonwealth Scholarship to study for their second masters. So ideally, if you scored or you had second class lower division, you need to have another postgraduate course, which could either be a master's or a postgraduate diploma.
Okay, so let's go back now to the application process, and we are going to break down the application process for the applicant as if they have never seen it before. I understand that people need to choose themes. There are 6 themes. I'm saying that because I was also a scholar on this program. Which theme are you on?
And the first theme, which is access, inclusion, and I believe opportunity.
So what does a theme? What do we mean when we say you are under that theme?
So ideally, the Commonwealth scholarships usually run under 6 themes, which are called 6 CSE themes. And ideally, what this means is these themes are basically just development impacts for Commonwealth. And what it means, it's basically each theme carries different courses under it. And what Commonwealth seeks to do is to tap into the potential of bright and talented individuals from Commonwealth and developing countries, and these individuals study under these 6 themes, and the 6 themes inform the kind of course you are doing under the Commonwealth scholarship.
Okay, that takes me to the next part, because on my other screen, just before me here, I'm looking at the application form, and it's saying, select up to 3 sustainable development goals that relate to your future development impact, starting with the most relevant. So these are simply what we call SDGs. There are 17 SDGs in the UN Development Impact, something like that. So how do I know that these are the relevant SDGs for me? And if I choose, do I choose any SDG at random? And if I choose, is it going to impact the way I'm going to write my essays afterwards?
Great. So actually, before you select any SDG goal, you need to first of all go to the United Nations and read on what exactly do those SDG those goals entail. You read and understand and connect whatever course you are doing to those to those to those themes. The theme could either be poverty, it could either be innovation and industry. Basically, you will find no matter the course you are doing, like there must be a link between that course and 1, 2, or 3 sustainable development goals. So first of all, you need to identify what course am I doing. What just look at the course content. What does that course content lead to? Then what goal does that course align with? So you need to select. You don't select those sustainable development goals at random just because they are there. Those goals are there for a reason, and they need to marry with the course you are applying to, and those goals will inform the way you are going to write your essays, because you won't be writing essays just like that and just for the sake of it. You must marry those goals with the course you are doing and what you hope to achieve, because that way, that's when either the Commonwealth or the university in the UK will know that you are a good fit for that course, and you know what you are doing and what you hope to achieve after the end of the course.
So you said if I want to understand anything about the SDGs, I need to go to the UN website.
Yes, you need to visit
the website, right? Because I needed to clarify that. So so that takes us to the next question. And the question says, Commonwealth scholarships in the UK are funded by the FCDO. So the important selection criteria is the potential that you will make contributions to international development if you are awarded the scholarship. So I'm actually reading through this application process step by step so that you take us through how you made your application, right? So assuming I chose a specific development impact. So here's the first question. Tell us how your proposed study relates to development issues at the national, global, and local level, right? Then the second one, which is part B, says development issues connected to your chosen CSC development theme and the wider sector. So let's assume, for example, you chose poverty, right? How would you answer that question?
Oh, great. Okay, so ideally, what happens in the application process is Commonwealth will prompt you with, I believe, 4 development impact essays, and
Yes.
how you approach. For instance, if we are writing an essay on poverty, so first of all, you have been prompted to write about that particular thing at an global, national, and local level. So first of all, what I did to approach this question is I gave statistics. I told Commonwealth about the statistics of the problem I wanted to address at a national level. And my case, I gave the statistics of the UN, that is the United Nations. And basically, what you do, if your course, you think like there is a particular body, an international body, which ideally addresses your your course, you go to that body, search the statistics or whatever they stated about that problem you want to address. Then you mention, because in my case, I used a statement like, according to the United Nations statistics on so and so, they estimate that so and so number of people like that. You give the reviewer those statistics, and those statistics could show the seriousness of the problem in the society. So that's at a global the global level. Then you
Yes.
move down to the national level. What is happening in your home country? How bad is the situation in your home country, so that the reviewer can know the seriousness of this issue, and the more reason they should award you the scholarship. Then from there you move to a local level. A local level could either be the society you come from, or the society you come from. And if you come from a region, the region, how serious the region, the problem is in your region. And here, like, you are now talking about your own community, where you come from, like how
Yes.
serious is that problem.
So how is this? So you have to write that how it's connected to your theme. Okay, I think that is very clear. That's for the first development impact question. Then it goes directly below it. So that is just 200 words. I should comment about that. 200 words is a very small number of words. So you need to be very careful with your choice of words and statements. And it is also very discouraging when we have people just writing just 2 lines or 2 sentences for such a very serious topic. So you may want to think very carefully about these facts. How do you get these statistics? Just look for bodies. Look for bodies like the UN. Look for bodies like UNHCR. You look for World Bank. Look for Forbes. So it depends on your area of specialization. For example, if you are in business, of course, I would expect you to look for things like World Bank, like Forbes and such. You can look for consultancy companies, the likes of PwC, KPMG. Those are companies known across the world. So their statistics can be easily relied upon. So they can be used to support your argument. You can also use your national statistics body, people who do census. So KNBS, that is for Kenyan. And many other countries have their own statistics. The central bank can provide statistics for that. Development impact 2 goes like this. Tell us how you intend to apply your new skills and qualifications when you return home. That is the question. Then they proceed to tell you You may wish to reference innovation and application of knowledge at a global, national, or local level, and to include intended methodologies and implemented strategies. And then you have 100 words for that. So how would you approach that?
Okay, so particularly this number of words are there for a reason. So what you do with this essays, if I might comment on that before moving to the question, is you go straight to the point. You don't beat around the bush. And I would advise people applying, first of all, write your whole ideas. You could write even 600 words, no matter the number of words. Then now look for the most important words of, can you express that sentence of 15 words in 3 or so words? Like now start trimming down those words in, you could trim down to, let's say, 400, then you reduce that to 200. So that's how you write these essays. You don't just wake up and write the exact, you first write a higher word count, then you reduce those word count to the most important and to the most specific. Alternatively, you can choose to be more specific and just write, first of all, have your thoughts written down. Then now you reduce those thoughts to the number of words required. So then after that, you can now submit after the number of words align with the required. So the prompt where Commonwealth asks you how you are going to use the knowledge and the skills you will have acquired is, you just go straight to the point and tell them that this is how I'm going to use the knowledge I've obtained. If for in my own case, I really love things to do with scholarly research and all that. So I was very keen to tell them about my scholarly writings and how I intend to transfer those skills to so I wrote only 2 things. I think I wrote about scholarly research and about giving back through I love lecturing and all that, so I talked about lecturing students and all that. So that's how I told Commonwealth that this is how I'm going to do after the course.
So your take was research and lecturing.
Yes, I just went straight.
And of course, there are a lot of other ideas. For example, mine, I mentioned during the beginning of this video, I was also a scholar. Mine, I actually said I'm going back to practice in the company where I was practicing. So there's no clear-cut way to put this. You can either say, like, whichever path you choose, just to know that it supports your narrative. And as we are going to mention in the next few parts, you will notice that at least what you say now may in some way influence what you're going to say in the next part of your essay. So think about it like this: short term, medium term, long term. Then from that point, at least now you can know which and what you're going to do. So the next question, that's number 3 of 4. Number 3 of the 4, what you expect will change in development terms following your studies, including, so here's the thing: A, the outcomes that you aim to achieve, the time frames for their implementations, and who the beneficiaries will be. So I've been given 250 words to describe that. What should I be bringing out so that to ensure it comes out so clearly?
Oh, great. So when I read that prompt, I first thought about who will benefit from this study. So if it is the government, you write it down. This is the government. You could even narrow it down to what arm of the government, or what parastatal, or what ministry of the government is going. You be more specific. Then you identify, is it the society, is it students, who exactly are the beneficiaries of this particular course. And you be more specific, like this is what I'm going to achieve after the end of these studies. and you write what you are going to achieve after you finish your studies. Then you write who is going to benefit from this new knowledge, skills, and expertise you are going to get after your course. And you might want to be more specific. This is you mention who is the beneficiary, then how are they going to benefit. You don't just say the beneficiaries, then you leave it at that point. You mention the beneficiary and how exactly are they going to benefit. And since Commonwealth is very keen on people transforming their communities and all that, you might want to mention the community you come from, because that should be your first priority, because
Uh-huh.
that is the where you come from.
So it gets me to ask. There is when we get to discuss with scholars from not just Commonwealth, there's this question or matter of people bringing out stories or ideas that are too far to reach. So when you are saying my studies will impact X, Y, or Z, how do I know that this is a too far to reach target? How do I know this is a good enough target? Is there something too small to be called an achievable target?
Oh, great. And the Commonwealth will actually tell them how long that particular target you're going to achieve it. So you might, when you are writing, you might think like this is a distant dream, like it's not really achievable, but you
Mhm.
be specific and tell them like this is really what I want to achieve, and this is the duration. But you see, you have to write achievable things. You don't just write things which clearly a person reading those essays will be like, this is not achievable. I know
Mhm.
you have those big dreams, this is what you want to achieve and all that, but again, they have set a timelines. You don't want just to have this big dream, then you say, give me 15 years, then I'll be able to achieve this. You might want to narrow down those dreams into all those things you want to achieve into an achievable thing, and
Yeah.
a thing which is achievable within a very reasonable duration of time, which could either be 2 years, three, or so. But you don't have to write those big achievements, because actually there is a section where you'll be asked to write about your long-term goals. Now you can
Okay.
go about those long-term goals there, but here, since you are
Mhm.
given a duration, just be more specific and write achievable things which can be achieved within a short period of time.
Then that means maybe we should keep going. We may come back to that section. So it brings me to the next question: how will the impact of your work be measured and evidenced? Please include details of what indicators are used to measure this impact. You may wish to detail small and incremental changes as well as more significant goals. Before you answer that question, I have a comment. You see, for each and every prompt that Commonwealth gives you, you may notice that at the end of the comment, they have a suggestion. So think carefully about that, because it is a good way to start arguing your points. It's a good way to start framing your perspective. So back to the question: how would you answer this question? Like, how will we measure? Because now you've told us all your dreams, what you want to do after your studies. How will we measure that?
Oh, great. Let me just give a hint to the people applying. You see those last suggestions given by Commonwealth. I was actually using that to begin my sentence. I was not giving new things, and I was just using the impact of whatever I'm doing will be measured through. Because for me, I was really keen on telling them about research, because what I wanted to research is a new area of law. It's is an emerging area. So I was really keen on telling them about the research work of what I want to carry out. And I was
Mhm.
telling them that the impact will be measured through the number of because I really do a lot of publications and all that. So I was telling them the kind of scholarly work I'll be producing and all that. So I was just telling them this is what I really love and I'm passionate about. And the impact could clearly be measured with what I'll be churning out as my research and all that. So basically, you tell them, you just go straight to the point, tell them this is the impact, because you don't have the luxury of a lot of words. Just be specific of how the impact will be measured.
So if somebody has been listening very carefully, I'm listening to you now, and I wanted to just remind somebody who might have missed that part. I remember the first part of your essay. You said you want to go into research, and now, as you can see, the last part he's mentioning about how they will measure that output of research. So there should be that consistency in your story, in that if you are talking about I will make it rain, then you should talk about making it rain all through. If you are going to say I'll make the sun shine, then you should talk about the sun from the beginning all through to the end. So like stick to one element of the story and don't be all over the place. But to our audience, if you're joining us right now, this is the Management Diary, and tonight we are hosting Alfred Nyaga. He is a master's student at the Brunel University, that is in London. He's a Commonwealth Shared Scholar, and this conversation is meant specifically to help you understand the application process for both the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship and the Commonwealth Masters Scholarship. So if you are waiting for specific details about the Commonwealth Masters Scholarship, you may want to wait until the further end. That's where some very specific details of that course will come. If you also want to book a one-on-one conversation with any of the scholars we are hosting, as from this point onwards, we will start putting a bookable link to our videos so that you can always book for a one-on-one consultation with our scholars who we are going to host. So coming up next are the career plans. Here is the question. Describe the skills that you expect to gain from this scholarship and your career plans once you return home afterwards. So you've talked about your impacts. Then what do you plan?
So for this question, you might want to be whatever. If you plan on going back to wherever you are working after the end of your studies, you might want to first of all begin by stating what exactly were you doing and how you relate it to the skills you've gotten. For instance, in my case, some of the skills I mentioned is as a lawyer, you must have very good legal research skills, legal research and legal writing. And in my previous place of work, I used to do a lot of legal research and legal writings, a lot of articles which can be accessed on my LinkedIn or the company website. They're all there. So ideally, you link exactly what you are doing and what you hope to do once you are back. Then you might want to also, because I wanted to make my essays so connected such that a person reading, they could easily understand what Alfred is really passionate about. And as just telling Commonwealth, like I am really, really passionate about teaching and all that. And
Yes.
I want to come back, teach in a law school in Kenya or wherever. And in this place, I'll be teaching and mentoring students. And I was so specific to Commonwealth and telling them what exactly I want to come and teach. I didn't just say teaching. I was very particular on what kind of studies do I want to do. Then at that point, I also connected and said, aside from this teaching, I want also to conduct scholarly writings and scholarly research while teaching. So you can see from my essays, everything is so linked together. There's a point I said I want to lecture. Now I'm telling Commonwealth I want to go back, teach at a law school, mentor students and all that. And mentoring, there is a point in my essays I started talking about mentorship because I do a lot of mentorship at the same time. So these essays are so connected, and you need to be specific. Don't just mention something and you're not showing how, because these essays are like you mention, and the most the thing people should use is the star approach, so that you don't be all of. You mention the thing, then how, then if the words or the number of words allows, how are you going to achieve that? So that these essays are not all over, but they have that particular layout, the way you are writing.
So, what is the star approach?
In legal field, it's usually something we call IRAC, but I'll just explain the star. So basically, star is what is the situation. You mention if it is things to do with human rights, you tell Commonwealth, this is the situation on the ground. Then you move to the task, the action you are going to take to this task you've already mentioned. Then exactly what is the result you are going to achieve. And for people in the legal field or related field, we usually use something we call IRAC. And IRAC really means it's an issue, the rule, the application, and the conclusion. So what you do is you identify the issue, the rule to that issue, you apply the rules, then you conclude. Now conclusion is where you state about the achievement.
So I wanted to make, you've made a very good reference to your work, and I wanted to make a comment for people who are just fresh graduates. Remember, you can apply for Commonwealth Shared Scholarship from as early as your 4th year, as long as you can graduate by the time you're supposed to join your master's degree. And this is how it works. If you want to talk about this very specific question, describe the skills that you expect to gain. I'm speaking this because I've been mentoring a lot of scholars. You can look at it also from the perspective of what program you are going to do. Then so especially if you don't have a good work background, then go look into what the program teaches. So for example, I'm in the business world, so I can say this program teaches me financial modeling. If I'm in IT, I can say this program teaches me how to program, how to write computer codes. Or maybe if I'm in social sciences, this program teaches me how to handle people in social care, something like that. Then from that point, you can build your essay. You don't necessarily need to base it, especially if you don't have experience. So if you have experience that is so good for you, you can talk a lot about the experience. So this is especially for people who are just fresh from college, they don't have experience and such things. So you can also look at it from the angle of what does the program offer, then proceed to offer more discussion from that angle. And now that takes you directly to your career plan in 5 years following the award.
Oh, great. Ideally,
and
the career plan.
You can just join that with the long-term plans, because you can just join that with the long-term plans.
Oh, great. So ideally, those career plan are usually basically it's a short-term goal and a long-term goal. So the short-term goal means that what do you hope to achieve immediately you come back to your country after the award? Exactly, like immediately you come back, what do you want to do? Some people might think of it like immediately I come back home, I would have gotten skills on entrepreneurship and all that, and to come back and start a small business or something, and to come back and do it. You should have this essays in immediately you come back, what do you want to do? There should be that clear plan of what you want to do immediately you go back to your own country. Then after that, what do you want to do? So that it's very clear that this person knows exactly what they want to do immediately they go back. Then for the long term, you need to show like what exactly do you want to achieve in your long term goals. Because your long term goal could be like if you are doing things to do with I'm just giving an example, then I give what I give what I wrote. Maybe you are like the business world, like you Joseph, maybe you might want to just mention that maybe you might want to be a CEO somewhere of an organization or something. But in my case, I was very clear. I told Commonwealth that I really I'm passionate about academics and academia, as I just told them that in the long term, I would wish to pursue a PhD. And I was so specific. I didn't just tell them a PhD. I was so specific as to the kind of PhD I wanted to do. So I narrowed it down to what exactly do I want to do for that PhD and how will it impact the society and people. So I narrowed it down like I want to do a PhD on this area of law because it's an
Yes.
emerging area and this is the impact.
Okay. So, if you look at that question, somebody can be tempted to just put a 10-word line there and be like, I want to be a CEO. I want to be. Don't do that. Here's why. A few minutes ago, we just talked about the development impacts you are putting yourself into. So, in as much as you're writing all these, what you want to do, long term, short term, medium term, you should also motivate that. Like, how then is that going to help those development impacts? Because at the long run, we want to see that whatever you said at the back there is actually in your career plans, medium term, long term, and there's no specific job to do. We don't say like you need to say I'm going to start an NGO or something. You can say I will just be a senior accountant in company X, and then proceed to say how being a senior accountant can help you maybe avoid fraud, financial fraud. Maybe you can say I want to be an engineer in company X. Why? It's okay. Actually, in my case, I used to mention very specific companies. I will work in company A, B, C, D, and this is what I will do. So there's no harm in doing that. Now, there's a very interesting part here that most people tend to shy away from. And it talks about your proposed study in the UK. Up to this point, we have not talked about the course you want to do. For Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, you are going to be given a list of courses. So these courses, you will choose from that list which course you want to do. For Commonwealth Masters Scholarship, you are going to choose the course you want to do. So let's look into a very unique case where maybe my choice, of course, is available in both sides. Maybe I want to do a course in law like you. Then, how am I going to discuss about this section where they're asking me, provide a short outline of your proposed study / research? This should be written for an audience that does not have any prior knowledge of the subject and must not be overly technical. Any abbreviations, listen to this one. Any abbreviations or specialist terms must be explained. So, what goes into this part?
Great. And I think overall that was basically one of the most the essays I loved most, because there I was now showcasing really what am I passionate about, what do I want to conduct research in. And I this area you want to be more specific, exactly what do you want what do you want to come and study / research. You don't
Okay.
want to. So what I advise is go to that. If a course has been listed on the Commonwealth Scholarship website, go to the school website, Google that course, see the kind of modules that course is teaching. Then look at. I would also advise look at the professors who are teaching those courses, because you don't want to seem like you don't know what you are discussing. And I think in my essays I mentioned not one, not two, like several professors who I thought could impact my research and all that, and the kind of research they were doing. So what you do this essay is you mention the kind of research you want to come and do, then you write the objectives and what so you can be like the objectives of my research are, then you write what kind of objectives you have, then you write the findings, how what are the findings of this particular research you want to conduct on. Is it a novel? You see, there are some obvious researches which even if you go online and you just write the name of that research, it's over researched. Everyone has written a lot about it and there's no much left to discuss. So if you start writing things which are so obvious, like even a person who is not in your field, they know nothing about your field, and they just read it and they'll be like, I know this, it's already over researched. So you might want to be very specific, look at the contemporary issues affecting the society, things which are so current in your field, such that a person reading your essays will be like, this is new and we need people researching on this kind of things, and not so obvious things which sound so over researched, and they've even now become a cliche if you ask me, because they've been done so many times.
Yeah. Because the next question actually says, provide a detailed plan of your proposed study. The selection panel will want to understand why you have selected your proposed courses and university. So this is for the Commonwealth Masters. But the shared is still the same case, because you are going to select a program during your application, although it is technically pre-specified. You should remember that although the selection panel will be well informed, they are not likely to be specialists in your subject. So describe clearly why you have chosen your proposed course and university. That is the first one.
Great.
Then, what is it that you are looking for in the course, and how your chosen course relates to your objectives? Those objectives we just discussed back there. And any dissertation. A dissertation is more or less what other people, it's actually not the same thing, but it could also be likened to a thesis. So any dissertation topic you have in mind. So how did you approach this part? Because they're talking about the course, they're talking about the university, and they're talking about the dissertation.
Oh, great. For me, I was very specific. I didn't want to beat around the bush, and I didn't want to give the person reading like an assumption that this guy doesn't know what they want to do. So I even provided them with a topic like this and let me tell you one thing. You might the topic can change and all that, but be very specific exactly what you want to research on. Then for the university and the course, what you do is you go online to that university, check out why that university and not any other university. For me, how I was approaching it is I approached it from a module perspective. I approached it from the professor's perspective, like what modules is the university teaching? How different are they? Then who are the people teaching those modules? And you don't just say professor and you leave it. You mention them by name. You say, if it's Professor so and so, you mention them, and you might even want to be more specific. They are researching on this area. And so that a person reading, and for the Commonwealth shared, because they are these applications are usually read by the school itself. They'll read and be like, this guy already knows the professors, because you've done your due diligence, you've done basically you've researched. And there's a webinar I attended when I was doing my application, and there's a lady who kept on saying, you be an online detective. You see, there are some questions which people will ask you, and you can easily find them on the internet. They are all available, those resources. So it's good to consult people, but don't consult on obvious things. Be that online detective, a person who is willing to go online, like investigate things, find out things on that. If it is a course, you look at the modules, be curious to know more, because if you want to apply for these things, you can't just be then waiting to ask people for help, and you yourself, you are not doing your best. You need to be
Yeah.
an online detective first.
Mhm.
Find out the course, why that university. Then you mention the dissertation. If you know, and that dissertation needs to stem from whatever you've been discussing above. It shouldn't be a new thing. You say
Mhm.
this is the topic, and this the topic I want to research on.
Yes. So I just wanted to make a very small comment to just support what you just said. And there are various ways to approach this. Of course, you have already been told about where to get the information. If you want to talk about the university, go to the university website. Look for things like the university ranking. Look for things like how many, like the distribution of international students in the university. So those are the points you need to be mentioning if you're commenting about the university. If you are commenting about the courses, talk about any accreditations that the course has been provided. Talk about, like, is there any award that the course has been given? If there's somebody in the department who has, if we go just checking on the university website, you will see all these things. If somebody has been recognized maybe for providing top quality research in a in a research area called maybe civil engineering, then that is also one thing you may want to mention, so that I can be like, the University of XYZ is known for this, and this. It is also known for this, and this. There's this scholar who has done this work, and this person is in the department. So those are some of the things that you can use to motivate your reasons why you want to study at this university. And it is for different reasons, because we have universities that are actually located in good places. So you can start talking about where the university is located. In my case, I actually used that. Like I talked about the university is located in an easily accessible place, because I was at the University of Stirling, that is in Scotland. Then after that, you talk about the location of the campus. Some universities are in the city, others are up country. So those are things you may want to talk about, the international community and such. Now, you have mentioned about your dissertation topic. Very briefly, don't go too deep into it, because anyway, most of these things you're going to do is just a master's, a taught master's, which is a different case with the research masters. If you want to understand the difference between a taught and research masters, just go to this channel and check on a video we did a few weeks ago about the masters, the application process for a master's in the UK. You will get all the details you need to know. Now, down here, we are left with keywords. And you can just very, very briefly, because we are running out of time. You can mention very, very briefly about the three keywords before now I can proceed to the next part.
Okay, so for these keywords is just basically for those who write research papers and all that, they usually provide keywords. So what are the keywords? My case, it could be artificial intelligence, data privacy, human rights. So basically those are the keywords, so that a person knows that these, if they just look at the keywords, they know the kind of research which this person is going to conduct.
Okay, sure. Now, we are coming to the elephant in the room. There are two essays, each goes for 500 words. And this is where a lot of people struggle. So, let's discuss this part in like as much detail as possible, but for the shortest time possible. So, I'll get to ask, beginning with the first question. The CSC encourages applications from candidates who have faced significant disadvantage or personal barriers to higher education or underrepresented in their field of study / workplace, right? Please summarize the ways in which your personal background has encouraged you to want to make an impact in your home country. You may wish to highlight any areas where you have already made significant contributions, including overcoming personal or community barriers in accessing higher education or within your field. Now, could you please tell me how best I can write this?
Great. I think, Omai, This is the best essays I usually, for all applications I've made and the ones I'm making, like this is the best essay I could say I enjoy writing. And it is one thing I would advise people is let this essay be, first of all, authentic, be your own personal story, and just sit down and think about your life up to this point. What have you gone through? What has really shaped you to be who you are? And what do you look to achieve? So basically, be authentic as much as possible. Then let this essay be your own personal story. So
Yes.
how I approached this essay is I told Commonwealth my personal story from where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
This is my story. This was the challenge I faced. I faced. I faced just in the first paragraph. This is the challenge. This is how I overcame that particular challenge.
Yes.
Then you move on. In as much as you faced this challenge, what did you do to overcome it? Because I was mentioning the challenge I overcame. I told them how I used to study and still work at the same time, juggling between these two things, intensive studies and a demanding work. How I overcame that and became the best graduating student in both my diploma in law and my bachelor's of laws. Like basically, they can see this guy has been going through all this, like working, studying, and you know how that can be so stressful, and
Yes.
still emerging the best. And there are people who are studying. I was even telling them that how I was working part time and studying part time, and how my peers were just studying full time. But despite all this, I've emerged the best in both courses, so they can see what this guy has been able. Then I told them like this is what I'm interested in, and this is what I'm already doing in that area. So basically, what I usually mean is Commonwealth needs to know what you've been doing before they even give you this scholarship. You can't be
Okay.
like, I want to go into, they need to find you somewhere. You can't be just saying, this scholarship is what is going to enable me to start. You need to be starting so that they find you somewhere and make you shine in that area or something. You can't
Yeah.
be not doing anything in whatever you want to do. Then you tell,
Yes.
so you tell them exactly what you are doing. And here you are using numbers. You are not just telling them this is what you've been. For me, in my previous workplace, I was fortunate enough to be given a platform to write a lot and publish a lot. So I was there telling them, this is the research work I've done. These are the number of articles I've actually written. And Omar, if you might allow me to digress a little bit, you see this statement I've made of articles. One of my referees actually wrote a reference letter, and I told her to include these links to these articles because I couldn't provide them here. I told her, when you are writing, please write the name of the article and provide a link. So you write, this is what now going back to the essay, you write what exactly you are doing, where Commonwealth is coming in to make you, is it the expertise? Is it the knowledge you want to expand more on your knowledge and all that? Then at the end, you connect what really is this scholarship? What does it mean to you? Commonwealth giving you this scholarship, what will it do for you?
Yes.
And you might also want to mention what really are you doing to, because you don't want it to look like it's you who is gaining. What
Yeah.
are other people? What do other people stand to gain from you getting this scholarship? So you want to be generous enough to mention what people will stand to gain and what this scholarship really means to you. And I advise people to really be authentic, write your own story, and have numbers in between. Like,
So
let them see. Yes.
I got a very interesting question. I have honestly not had a very difficult life with my studies, and I still need the scholarship. In as much as I've not struggled a lot, I have not. I can't afford to pay for the fees. So, what should I do in that case?
Omai, let me mention this. We all have different experiences and different things we've experienced in life, and that is what makes me unique from you. You might not have experienced that barrier firsthand, but a family member could have experienced it. Let me give an example. Maybe you've seen, if you are in the medical field, you've seen your uncle, you've seen whatever, your family member die of, say, cancer or anything, and you're applying to a course which is cancer related or anything medicine related, and you've seen firsthand experience a family member or someone pass away because of that particular thing, and you want to show them that this is exactly what motivated me to do ABCD, and that is why you are applying to this course, so that you can get more knowledge, skills, and expertise to go back to your country and basically implement whatever you've learned and have this problem in society reduce.
And now I have an idea about how I'll deal with it. We come to the last essay, and this one asks: summarize the ways in which you have engaged in voluntary activities and opportunities you have had to demonstrate leadership.
Great.
How? Of course, we know people in high up the career ladder may be having a very good story to tell. So I would really be interested in how you would approach this, especially if you are an early career individual, just started.
Great. And I think a lot of guys usually, like the people in school studying full time, they have never had any like work experience, and this is a place actually shine, because I mean you have all the time during the day to volunteer in activities. Just go out and find something. If people are cleaning the streets, go join them. If people are visiting a certain children, go join them. If people are going, like, you need to be active in volunteering so that this essay you are able to shine, because this is an essay where Commonwealth needs to see how have you impacted the society in your own small ways. So ideally, how I approached this essay is I gave Commonwealth like, what does leadership really mean to me? I told them this is what I believe in terms of leadership, and this is what a leader should do from my own perspective. Then I went ahead and I was not just telling them like I have engaged in, so I was giving them this is the problem in society, and I've done this leadership on that particular problem. For instance, there's a volunteering activity I did while in school of going to the prison and talking to the prisoners. So I was telling them access to justice remains one of the key problems in society, and the United Nations estimates that this number of the percentage of people lack access to justice in Kenya.
Yes.
Then I went ahead and told them, as a class representative, as a whatever leader, I organized this particular event, or I took part in this particular event where we did ABCD. Then you show using numbers. You tell them like, this is the number of people who benefited from this exercise. Then I also do a lot of mentorship. So I told Commonwealth, mentorship remains one of the problems where we have people dropping from school, dismal performances in discipline. So I told them that is what is happening, but with mentorship, this could change. And I told the people reading the essay, this is what I've been able to do as a mentor, and this is the number of people who've benefited. So basically, you show how you volunteered. It could be in the smallest way possible. Maybe in a church activity you volunteer
Yes.
in this. You just tell them this is me and this is what I volunteer in and this is the impact. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It just the small ways which have a high impact in society or which benefit people in society.
Okay. I think that is well captured. The only caveat I have to that statement is, if you are writing that essay, please be realistic, because you are writing to people who have the capacity to reason and they can actually weigh and see whatever you're writing, if it's making sense or not. So don't over praise yourself, don't over polish yourself. Just write something realistic, something that you've done, small things in big ways. There's no problem with that. Just write that and they will judge and they will know actually this is a real clear story. Now, we are clearly out of time. I wanted us to discuss about the next part, which is the most important, that locks out most people: the documents that we need. So very briefly, of course, for a passport, just go to your country, apply for a passport. As once you begin to apply for scholarships, you know you should have a passport. So that we are not even going to discuss anything about passports here, but we have something called transcripts and degree certificates. Assuming I am in my fourth year and I have just applied for this scholarship, do I need to submit these documents immediately, or what can I do if I don't have all of them?
Oh, great. Because I was in that situation actually. So before I go to the specific documents, let me address that question of people in their 4th years. So ideally, when I was applying, I was in my final semester. So it meant that I had transcript up to what we call 4th year first semester. It could be different depending on your jurisdiction or whichever country you come from. But I didn't have results for my last semester of 4th year. So what I did is, and it even became a challenge for me applying to the schools even. So what you do is, you provide those particular results transcript you have up to that point. Then you go to your school, ask for what you call a letter of completion. You could have finished your course and you don't have the results, or you could have finished and you don't have the final results and the certificate. So once you ask them for your letter of completion, they'll indicate whichever case. It could be that you are waiting to graduate and you don't have the certificates and you don't have the final transcript, or you will be graduating in December and you are currently in your final semester. So it will depend on the case, and you need to approach your school, tell them what you are applying and why you need that particular document to show that when you are completing and when you get your transcript and the results. Then so that's what you do. Then because we are talking about school and going to the school, there are some universities where you'll be required to provide IELTS. So IELTS is a language test which some universities are very strict on. And what I did in my case is, I went back to my university, told them that I want an English proficiency letter, and I got that letter from the director of the school of law, because I was in the school of law. So basically, it could be a dean or the director or the HOD, whichever case. So they'll write a letter, then they'll say that you've been taught in English, and English was the mode of examination and instructions in the university. Then you will check with the UK university whether they accept that as an equivalent of having the IELTS certificate. If they don't, you might be required to sit for those IELTS. In my case, my university exempted me after I provided that particular letter. Then the other thing, apart from certificates and transcript, those letters and all that, you'll be required to have 3 references. And those references need to testify to your capabilities and skills. So you'll want, if you are working, you might want to have a professional reference and academic. And in my case, I have a friend who told me they provided a personal one, a person who knows their could provide to their character. So you might want to do that. In my case, I provided 2 academics and 1 professional. But if you want a person to testify to your character, you might want to do that. But that person should not be your friend, your relative, or something. They could be a person you've worked with somewhere, and they provide what is your character. For me, what I did is I had my professional and academics also writing inside there, my character and all that. So you might want to engage 3 good people who can testify to you. And people like this, I believe that references form is an important aspect of any application, because now is another person commenting who is really Alfred from their perspective, not from your because you might have blown your trumpet in the application. He says, but now what can a third person say about you?
So
How well do they know you? Yeah.
So
Yes.
just to add on what you've just said, first, you don't need to provide the references at the application stage, but in case you are nominated, you must provide them. The second bit, if you don't know what the referees should be providing, on the Commonwealth Masters or Shared website, you will find details point by point on what they should generally comment about. So as you're choosing your referees, talk to them in advance and then get them to like have all this information and know on the specific timelines. Also, one thing that we may want to comment about is the university offer letters. Sometimes when you're making an application, you may not be having an offer to the university. I said we already did a video on how you can apply for a master's degree in the UK for free. Now, in case you are seeing this video and the application closes tomorrow and you don't have an offer, you don't need to panic. What you need to do is proceed to send the application, because either way you can proceed now to make the application to the university at a later stage, but make sure you are doing this as early as possible.
So ideally, these universities have different rules on this Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. For instance, University of Warwick usually says that if you want to be considered for Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, last year they were closing on 14th December. They say that you must make your school application by 14th. If you make it outside that time, you won't be considered. So you need to go to the specific rules of that school. Then for the University of Southampton, after we made the application to Commonwealth, in February, though I had already applied, they sent us an email telling us that telling me that they've shortlisted me for Commonwealth Shared Scholarship and I should proceed to apply for the course. And once I apply, I send them the application number. Then for Brunel University London, where I am, they I applied for the course. Then in February, they interviewed us. So it's very different. It depends on the school, because for me, I was interviewed for Commonwealth Shared. So they interviewed us. Then from there, now they selected the people to be the nominees and the reserves for those courses. So take on the university what they say for their Commonwealth Shared scholarships. Different universities have different rules.
That is very clear. So whoever is listening should take that into. So the remaining part from here onwards, it will take like 2 minutes, is about the Commonwealth Masters Scholarship. It has a slightly different application process compared to the Commonwealth Shared. I made that application, so this is how it goes. Once you make your application on the portal, you need to print your documents and take them to a specific body. So for my case, my nominating agency was the Ministry of Education in my country. So I took the printed forms to the Ministry of Education. we began by saying the nominating agency are just organizations that are selected by the FCDO so that they can help with the process of selecting the applicant. Now, you should go and check on their website what criteria they have. They usually have their own criteria. They have their own internal deadlines. And getting the nominating agency should not be difficult. You can just, while you are making an application, the application form itself is going to show you who are nominating agencies in your country. So go to their website, check the details on the specifications they have, the deadlines they have, and the criteria they prefer before now you proceed to make that application. You should also know that for that case, you are going to make an application for more than one master's program. And unlike this specific case for Commonwealth Shared, so it means you are going to choose at least one master's program in 3 different universities, or maybe 3 master's programs in the same university. Some people actually have heard that you can choose the same program thrice. I don't know why you could do that anyway, in the same institution. So you are going to choose what works best for you, and at least try to know in all ways how you are going to defend the applications for each of these cases. So Alfred, if I just knew you today through this conversation, how am I going to reach you?
For people who might want to reach out to me, you can do so via LinkedIn. I usually prefer LinkedIn as I don't know why, but it's a really, really good platform. And for scholarship, people who are applying for scholarship, I would advise you to make use of LinkedIn. That's where you create a community of people who are rooting for you and people who are already scholars and in the scholarship you're applying for, and people who've gone through that same journey, and they know. And so reach out to them, and I know people on LinkedIn are willing to help. And even if they are not willing to help, just reaching out, and people create posts, seeing their post on scholarships. Basically, you need to be an online detective and look for people who are on the same scholarship you're applying for. Check out what they post, and basically be proactive. Just be proactive if indeed you are searching for scholarship opportunities.
We will put the link to his profile at the description of this video to make it easy for you to reach Alfred. So also, in addition to that, you can now book one-on-one consultation with scholars who we host on this program. And you can do that by checking the description to this video. If you are booking longer consultations, some of them might be chargeable because time is of essence. Remember to follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and TikTok. So that was Alfred Nyaga, and this is the Management Diary. See you again in our next episode.